This is a creature so feared that entire villages would abandon their homes just hearing its name. And it's been documented in over 40 different cultures across the planet. From fire-breathing monsters that hoarded gold to blood-sucking beasts that only came out at night, we are breaking down every major mythical creature and the crazy true stories behind how they came to exist. Dragons. These massive winged reptiles have been terrorizing human imagination for over 4,000 years. But here's what's wild. Nearly every ancient civilization independently created its own version of dragons without ever communicating with each other. The Chinese had Long, the Europeans had fire-breathing beasts, and the Aztecs had Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. So, how did this happen? Scientists believe ancient people discovered dinosaur fossils and had no idea what they were looking at. A massive skull with sharp teeth? Yeah, that's gotta be a monster. In medieval Europe, people literally thought these were dragon bones. But it gets crazier. In the 13th century, Marco Polo claimed he saw real dragons in China. Turns out he was probably looking at crocodiles, which he'd never seen before. And those European dragons that guarded treasure? Historians think this legend came from Vikings who painted dragons on their ships and literally did hoard gold from raids. Dragons might have been based on fossils and crocodiles. But this next creature? People genuinely thought their dead neighbors were rising from the grave to feast on blood. In the 1700s, Eastern Europe experienced what historians call vampire hysteria. And people genuinely believed the dead were rising from graves. Here's what actually happened. During plagues, people would bury bodies quickly. Sometimes, someone who wasn't fully dead would be buried alive and later claw their way out, appearing at their village covered in dirt and blood. Add in the fact that decomposing bodies naturally produce blood at the mouth. And boom, vampire legend confirmed. But the craziest part? In 1892, the tuberculosis outbreak in Rhode Island led to the Mercy Brown case. Her family actually exhumed her body, found liquid blood in her heart, and burned her organs, thinking she was a vampire draining her brother's life force. This happened in America in the 1890s. If you think burning someone's organs is extreme, wait until you hear what they did to people they thought were werewolves. Werewolves have been documented since ancient Greece, but the real explanation is even more disturbing than the myth. There's an actual medical condition called hypertrichosis. Remember those hairy families from earlier? That causes excessive hair growth all over the body. In medieval times, people with this were literally accused of being werewolves. But it gets darker. Between 1520 and 1630, over 30,000 people were executed for being werewolves in France alone. Many were just mentally ill individuals who suffered from clinical lycanthropy, a real psychiatric condition where people believe they're transforming into animals.
I used to ask myself why I was born this way. Because I used to it, I don't feel angry or afraid anymore.
Add in rabies outbreaks that made people aggressive and foam at the mouth. 30,000 people executed over a medical condition is insane. But at least they weren't paying millions for fake unicorn horns. Those magical horse creatures were actually part of one of history's greatest scams. For centuries, Viking traders sold unicorn horns to European royalty for literally their weight in gold. These horns supposedly cured poison and diseases. The twist? They were narwhal tusks. These Arctic whales have a single spiral tusk that Vikings harvested and sold as unicorn horns. The scam was so successful that a single horn could cost more than a castle. Queen Elizabeth I reportedly paid £10,000 for one. That's over $2 million today. Vikings scamming royalty with whale tusks is wild. But at least narwhals aren't trying to drag your ship into the ocean. The Kraken, a massive sea monster that could sink entire ships, terrorized sailors for centuries. But plot twist, this one was actually real. Well, sort of.
New at 9, an incredibly rare discovery deep in the Gulf of Mexico, a giant squid captured on camera.
In 2004, Japanese scientists captured the first ever footage of a living giant squid in its natural habitat. These things grow up to 43 feet long, with eyes the size of dinner plates. Now imagine seeing that in the 1700s when you're a sailor with zero scientific knowledge. You're telling everyone about a massive tentacled monster that dragged ships underwater. And honestly, you wouldn't be lying. Giant squids are terrifying enough. But Sailors also kept confusing sea cows for beautiful women. Mermaids have been spotted by sailors for thousands of years, and Christopher Columbus himself reported seeing 3 mermaids off the coast of Haiti in 1493. His exact words? They were not as beautiful as depicted. Yeah, because he was looking at manatees. These sea cows were routinely mistaken for mermaids by sailors who'd been at sea for months. The U.S. National Ocean Service had to officially confirm in 2012 that mermaids are not real because so many people kept asking. Columbus confused manatees for mermaids. But modern people are still hunting for creatures in the woods today. Bigfoot and the Yeti are probably the most real mythical creatures because people are still actively searching for them today. The Patterson-Gimlin film, from 1967, supposedly shows a Bigfoot walking through California forests, and experts still debate whether it's real or a guy in a suit. But here's what we know. In 2008, 2 guys claimed they found a Bigfoot body in Georgia. They held a press conference, sold the story, and it turned out to be a gorilla costume filled with roadkill. They literally scammed the entire world. But that hasn't stopped over 10,000 reported Bigfoot sightings in North America alone. At least Bigfoot hunters are just searching the woods. Ancient people thought there was a literal immortal bird that set itself on fire. The phoenix, a bird that bursts into flames and is reborn from its ashes, appears in Greek, Egyptian, and Chinese mythology. But this one's purely symbolic. It represented the cycle of the sun rising and setting, death, and rebirth. However, ancient historians like Herodotus wrote about the phoenix as if it were a real bird that appeared in Egypt every 500 years. People genuinely believed this bird existed and would travel to Egypt hoping to see it. Next, we've got a creature that only appeared 30 years ago, and people are already obsessed. The Chupacabra only appeared in 1,995 inches Puerto Rico, making it the youngest mythical creature. Farmers found their livestock dead and drained of blood, and the legend exploded. But scientists figured it out pretty quick. Every Chupacabra specimen ever tested has been a coyote or dog with mange, a skin disease that makes them lose their fur and look absolutely terrifying. But that hasn't stopped the legend. To this day, people in the Americas report Chupacabra sightings. The Chupacabra appeared in 1995, but this next creature's been around for over 10,000 years and might explain some pretty insane Native American legends. The Thunderbird from Native American mythology was a massive bird so large that its wings created thunder. Scientists now believe this legend came from actual prehistoric birds called teratorns, massive vultures with 12-foot wingspans that went extinct 10,000 years ago. Indigenous peoples may have seen these birds or discovered their fossils, creating a legend that persisted for generations. The craziest part? Some cryptozoologists claim thunderbirds might still exist in remote areas. A bird with a 12-foot wingspan is terrifying, but at least it can't kill you with just a look like this next creature supposedly could. The basilisk, a serpent that could kill you with just a glance, has been documented since ancient Roman times. But the real origin is fascinating. It's probably based on cobras. Cobras can spit venom up to 8 feet and aim for the eyes, causing blindness and excruciating pain. If you made eye contact with a cobra and it spat venom into your eyes, you'd probably think you were killed by its death stare. Add in some exaggeration over centuries, and you get a monster that can kill with a look. If you made it this far, you're clearly enjoying the content. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We've got tons more videos breaking down the crazy truth behind legends, mysteries, and things that seem impossible. Also, drop a comment and let me know which mythical creature surprised you the most.